Ignore the noise for a moment. Sorry about that. Thank you for checking out the VOD. Hopefully you can hear both the music and my voice. People have been saying that that my voice has been a little quieter lately. I know I was sick before. I don't remember if I was getting that feedback before I was sick. I noticed, I mean, I can see in the monitor it's not like going super high. Nothing changed in my settings. Nothing changed in my settings. So maybe my mic position's all effed up. What's up, Rimrock? Normally fans, Possum. Hey. Oh yeah, I forgot I just pulled latest. Hey Kenji, Chan, Solo, Costanza, Gemster. Man, my coffee's already kind of lukewarm. Quixana. Were you camping the grave robbers in northern Night Harbor? Was that you? Playtest was a lot of fun, Frank and Beans. It was a lot of fun seeing people have fun. Hey, eating around. Wrong warp. Nice, yeah, I saw you over there. I was in my undercover character. I saw you guys over there, and you're a higher level than me. I honestly, I had a legit kind of like, oh, look at those higher level player kind of moment. So I came up and like, I just fanboyed. I like said hello and waved and then left, just to see what the response would be, because I mean, you didn't know it was me, but it was like legit. Seeing you guys look pretty badass. Had your camp going. Hey, Chili Sauce. Oh man, you only got to play 5 minutes. Bummer. We'll have more. We'll have more. On one hand, it's a bummer that you only got to play 5 minutes. On the other hand, it's kind of cool when people are like, I didn't really get a chance to play. Like Costanza, right? Oh, Quicksanda, you responded back. You did like a hello back and then kept doing your thing. Because it was kind of random. Yeah, no, it was cool. Ooh. We're hitting the crescendo on the phone. Yeah, you folks that didn't get a chance to play or only played a little bit, it's a bummer for you, but it's kind of cool because that just means that there's even more people out there. So it's nice to see how many people played, but then also know there's even people available. Ooh. 48. No, that gives us nice coverage. Not worried. I honestly don't want to play too much in the test. I'm gonna be surprised from WoW and EA. Okay, so I have a question for you then, Possum. Are you worried about being behind the curve? Or are you worried that other people have already figured everything out? Light free? Hello. Is this a haunted bathhouse? It is. How did you know, Normally Fan? Haunted bathhouse. Did I say light free or late free? It should be late free. Why did I say light free? But define Possum, late free. Yeah, I said light free the first time, didn't I? Like a big dummy. Um, but Possum, you're not worried that other people will be ahead of you? Are you just playing the game for you? Yeah, I don't want you guys to be tired of the game by the time EA rolls around. That'd be a bummer. But also, I'm curious how many people feel like obligated. Hey, Siren. I'm playing for me and the two friends. We're all busy dads, so no rush to make the max level. I'd love to hear that. I wonder if that's going to wind up being like a demographic for us. I mean, we kind of know that, right? Our poor community manager is streaming. I know, right? I'm not the dude. I'm not the community manager. Where's Nick? Nicholas. He's the dude dropping the real knowledge in Discord and saving your bacons during the play test. We got a number of guys that are pretty good in there, taking care of you guys. And saving your bacon. Ridiculous. Oh man. I'm sleepy. I have had I realized my coffee cup, my other one, not this wonderful Monsters and Memories coffee cup. But my other coffee cup is like half liter or something like that. I've had 3 of those today. I've had a Monster. I have this coffee. Oh, you guys haven't seen the merch? We have merch. Like, Pattis will be wearing like a beanie or a t-shirt or sweatshirt. Zukin's got a t-shirt. I've got a nice printed out postcard of one of the original cleric class concept. So that's the thing. We've got merch. We're not ready to share it. So I'll tell you here because you guys won't leak this. But stuff like the survey inquiry on Discord, that's kind of natural engagement, right? So kind of looking at that, it's like if we opened the merch shop and started going through the headache of taking money in, especially since the merch isn't like super profitable, like, all right, if we've only got like 700 800 people engaging on the survey, how many people are really going to engage with the merch store? It may, and the thing is, we love you. We love each and every one of you. You're all important to us. You're all our special children. But the reality is, if it just winds up being a little bit, not very many people engaging with something like that, then it winds up, and don't take this the wrong way because we will appreciate any money we get from it, but it winds up, I think, becoming a bit more of a pain in the ass than it is a true net benefit to us, you know what I mean? So that's one of the, it's one of the things. If we are seeing a lot of people that are active and it's like, oh, we got 10,000 people in Discord almost, and we see like easily a couple thousand people are like, oh yeah, I'm here, what's up, click. then we go, oh, a couple thousand people interacting with something like the merch store or whatever. Oh well, that might be worth it. Snail Juice said, I probably won't use the wiki and will discover on my own, so people being ahead doesn't matter much. I love that. The folks that are like, hey, I just wanna play the game. Cause we're kind of meant to be your new third place, right? The place that you go with your old homies and you guys camp and you meet some new people. Man, one of the nicest, so many nice Discord messages and shit, like, and comments on YouTube, but like, one of the coolest things I read was the person that posted in Discord was like, yeah, I'm like super antisocial, get very, shy around people and blah, 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 but was able to like get a group at the Crocs and meet some people and play and just really had a good time. Like the number of people that are getting the experience, the back in the day experience, everybody's like, oh yeah, well, MMOs can't do that anymore. I mean, we see so much of it right now. In Farish, our first, like, this is print on demand. Our first merch shop will have to be print on demand. So we've done a lot of research on PODs and tried to get the best one. When we eventually put the merch shop up, we're gonna put a huge disclaimer at the top that says this is print on demand. The quality is never gonna be what we'd want. And then what we'll do is in every item that we test, we'll in the description tell you what we don't like about it. Like, oh yeah, the gradient's not super nice looking on this cup, right? And then we'll let you guys post reviews as well, because you can like leave comments on there. And if you're like, oh, this sucks, then people will know, and it won't hurt our feelings. If it super sucks and that's the consensus, then we can remove it or whatever. But you guys better not like review bomb shit just so you have the only one. See, I just figured out what you're gonna do to try to be special. You're gonna review bomb the merch and then you'll be like, take it off. Did you miss a poll about remerch? Yeah, about merch? No, Quixana. I'm saying things like the poll that we put up there is meant to give us a rough idea of even like how many people are going to engage with a poll about the merch, right? Malis, sorry to hear the family had COVID and you weren't able to play. Like I was saying earlier, on one hand it sucks, but on the other hand, it's always nice knowing that there's even more people out there that didn't get a chance to play. Hey, Liz Biscuit, with your fancy outfit. I saw you in there. Your ogre was looking dapper. Kind of a rough mix. Our guild that I lead will be coming to M&M as our Greener Pasture MMO. We all raid competitively in WoW Classic Retail. We are wanting to be one of the higher end progression guilds in M&M. We have logged in testing and are just blown away about how much fun we are having just sitting around a campfire and spending time in the world. Currently, having only group content has been a breath of fresh air. That's nice, right? That's awesome. It's good to hear that. I like that you put only in there, only group content. I mean, the focus, we've talked about the focus being on group content for that reason. I mean, dude, we like raids. Most of the EQ heads on the team have been in raiding guilds and raided. I've designed raids. I mean, crap. Planes of Power was our love letter to raids. But it's, that's been a topic since the beginning, is like, how do we not make it so that you're just compelled to be focused on the raid game, and, just having a strong group focus seems important, but it's inevitable that we, multi-group content, we love it. It's just we need to make the balance. Like, how much is it more about like cool opportunities and some unique stuff, or like I have a real concern about if it, it becomes a primary progression path, and then all of a sudden the game bifurcates and you lose some of that. Like, hey, we kind of just have the campfire to be around. Oh, shit. Spoiler. Hey, G Willikers. Is there an M&M shirt creation store? No, there is not. But I mean, you guys can bootleg whatever you want. We're not going to send you a cease and desist. Probably. Maybe. Hey, Sanguine. Sorry. Like a penguin. Thanks for giving us some time with the game this week. Hey, thanks for checking it out. So G Williker said, Robot, if players can make their own shops in game, do you think it's a problem if they create an all quest items level 1 to 10 shop for super cheap? Like, are you worried that players will realize the game for themselves like that, or in other ways? It's a fun idea. We are actually Windcog's Curious Goods store was actually kind of supposed to be a little bit like that, believe it or not. Just haven't gotten around to doing it. But yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing. Then it'll just really be on us to look at what's available, what's droppable, what's no drop. Like, I mean, if you're selling off, you know, what's lore probably factors into that, right? Like, I don't know if the skeleton jawbone is lore, for example. If it's not, and you got a stack of jawbones, then, you know, if you're smart, you'll price them in a way where you at least make some cash, and you're not just there to... You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. And Farish, eventually maintaining the merch, like having our own merch made would be pretty dope. We would never maintain it in-house. We would always have to have somebody that deals with the transactions and shipping and all that shit. The print on demand service that we currently have set up will actually warehouse and handle all the payments and stuff for stuff that you put into their system. But I didn't look into like what the fees are or whatever. But yeah, so I was just at a festival a couple weekends ago and saw Amon Amarth, and the people that do Valheim's merch also do Amon Amarth stuff. And I swear the set design for the concert was... Man, I'm behind. Who's that? Where's our merch? Top? That would make sense. I just right in the middle. The big red button in the middle. What a dump. Yeah, anyways, Grimfrost. So eventually having like some legit... Why is it all kind of grayed out? It happens with this browser a lot more lately. Like there's some shit that I need to click that I can't see. Anyways, you know, eventually having like nice quality merch would be yeah, there's some overlay that I can't do anything about at the moment. Keep running into this more and more with Brave browser. Did you ever consider applying to Blizzard? Pretty sure some people who made WoW came from EQ. We once went up there, a handful of us went up there to have just a visit and see the game when it was still in development. Because I mean, there are EQ people that there are, you know, obviously EQ people, EQ2 people that were in guilds with the Blizzard people. And I mean, FOH and Legacy of Steel and all sorts of other guilds. And so we went up there and had a tour and checked things out, and had a nice dinner with them before launch. And there's a little bit of a feel of like, hey, do we want to follow up with this or what or whatever? And that was you know, that was the thing where I think we were just still, it was still early enough that we're pretty happy with what we were doing, and we had pretty decent golden handcuffs at Sony. So that, you know, just kind of made it like it was a fun opportunity to get to know those guys. And then the same thing, I think that crew or a similar crew, we once spent a day up at EA sometime after that in their studio before they moved to the one that was like closer to the beach, the studio that was in the like old shopping center in like in LA, and spent a day talking to EA executive producers and stuff. And it was like the same question every person we talked to, or at least every person I talked to, was like the same question. It's like, how would you turn Command and Conquer into an MMO? How would you turn this game into an MMO? Or like this was during like MMO mania, and everybody was like, how do we make our game into an MMO? But I think at the time they probably scoffed at some of our asking price. I know mine was ridiculous. So that was kind of that. But then later our guys went up there. My friend Steve Burke was one of the early guys to go up there after Vanguard didn't really pan out for him. He went up there and he wound up working on WoW for like 15 years or something like that. Hey, Goblin. Yeah, the one of the ideas with the just sort of random poll that I put up was a poll to see how much people engage with polls, and then maybe if there was high engagement, follow that with a poll about Merc. Were there any big takeaways from last weekend that you can talk about, or is the team still processing? DJ Footfingers, the team's still processing for the most part. I mean, the big takeaways were some nice positives. It was one of those tests where we went into it thinking that, you know, we had just had a really successful internal test with like 700 headless clients in Night Harbor. But then when we started getting real players in, when you guys come in, weird stuff happens, and as you saw, it was not ready for 700. So so I think that's one thing that we got out of it, was some learnings on that front, and the tech guys will be looking at that. But like big major epiphanies or whatever, I haven't, you know, I don't think we saw any like huge content revelations or anything like that. So we just saw people enjoying the game. I took some time to play later, like on Monday. I just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna play. I played for a little bit, but I think the team got in and played a bit. A lot of customer service issues were being resolved by Nick and the guys. There were a couple takeaways, just some learnings with regards to like folding servers in together, and Ollie shouldn't, but he was a little frustrated with himself that the spellbook thing happened or whatever. It's like, man, you know, shit happens, homie. It's okay. We fixed it. No, Nicodemus, we're not doing armor yet. One of these days, maybe. Mask said, hey, had a great time in the stress test. continually impressed with how you guys manage to make the right decisions where so many devs crumble. I mean, we're just doing what we think is the right and smart thing. I mean, for the most part, we're just like being honest with you guys and doing shit. So if you want to elaborate, then feel free to elaborate. That's learnings for me. I mean, I you know, my LinkedIn is all video game industry. My whole real adult professional life has been making video games, making MMOs. And I look at LinkedIn and I see, you know, what some of the other studios are doing and I think about the approach that the places I've worked have taken up until now, and I see what other startups and other teams are doing, and I definitely notice the difference. But the more that we do what we do, the more I'm like, I don't know why we would do it any other way. It more and more, it's kind of baffling to me. Every once in a while, I'll, like, no bullshit, I did this earlier actually. I'll pop on the LinkedIn to like post an update or whatever, and then I'll read some stuff because it's a social network, right? Like, so invariably you see the timeline, you're like, oh, what is this person saying? And a lot of times I'm like, what the f, what? And so then, you know, you doom scroll a little bit. I'm like, oh my god, LinkedIn is shit. LinkedIn is. If you work for LinkedIn out there, I'm sorry, but LinkedIn is just, oh, it's insidious. LinkedIn pretends like it's work, right? So you can feel justified in like bringing it up at work or for work, and it's just evolved into another social network. But I don't know, because it's my timeline or whatever. There's so many like, congrats on, you know, to Zippy Zip LLC for their $8.3 million seed round, and there's just all of this like, yeah, just, or even worse is it, and I'm like, what are you actually making? Who is working? What are you doing? Like, what are you working on though? Why is this not going to be 2 or 3 years of just getting a paycheck before it implodes and you go to the next one? Like, help me understand that from jump. How is this not going to be another $100 million disaster? Assuming it gets that far. But yeah, so every once in a while I'll write up like a preachy, like, what the f, and then what I'll do is I'll just copy it and I'll paste it in my own private files, and then I'll lock the door on that and I'll move on for the day. But yeah, man, it's not even the seed round ones that kind of bug the shit out of me, because I'll look and it's just like some of the stuff that's being worked on, I'm just don't. And how can a team be passionate about this thing that I'm seeing? Oh, but then the ones that really get me, it's like, there's been another funding round. We're up to 22 million on, and I look at it, I'm like, and I don't understand Web3. I thought I did for years. I thought but I'm like, you're making an MMO, but you're saying that the people can actually sell their shit. Because you don't keep it. Like, I don't have my sword in my hand if the MMO is not there. No one gives a shit. But you can own your sword and move it to another MMO. No, you can't. I don't know, man. It's goofy. I'm going to stop bitching about LinkedIn. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to stop complaining about LinkedIn. It's biggest driver I saw as a noob in EQ was seeing the people who did raid. Yeah, I mean, late free, that, you know, maintaining an aspirational layer is critical, right? So that's one of the things that we talk about. You want to be those heroes. I think raiding should be in the game, but rewards, there are titles or epic weapon drops, etc. 20-player raids are sweet. Well, but 20-player raids, are they really raids? I mean, geez, that's barely even a dinner party, right? Then that just become, is it the static 20? How do we maintain the 20 player variable count without or how do we maintain the 20 player count like variable without instancing? And it's, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going all the way back up to find this, but it's kind of like but yeah, making sure that, I mean, I felt it. I followed a freaking, let me find this picture. I followed an ogre around in our game as just a player. They didn't even know I was on the team. And let me find it. And I was just like, look how cool this guy looks. Screenshot. And he doesn't even look as cool in the screenshots as he did just running up on him in real life. I started following him. I was trying to follow him around and get like a picture of his cape billowing and shit. But when this guy came running up to me, Mask Ask, you just nailed it. You honestly, you just summarized it perfectly. People who post on LinkedIn seem to think that the exciting part about working in the games industry is the industry part, not the game. I mean, we've all been there, I guess. Like, we get a little bit of that ego and we're like, oh, maybe somebody will read my insightful writing and come at me with the opportunity of a lifetime. They'll be like, oh man, I read your comments on the various posts on LinkedIn and you're a fucking industry guru. You're an industry guru. Do you want to touch my butt? Well, that's too far. That's not appropriate for work. I'm telling you guys, this stream is about commitment to the mission. This stream is commitment to the mission. There you go, Hargreave. You were my hero. I saw so many cool. I told you, Quixana. I saw the name over as I was leaving to go try to find some more damn scarabs that weren't being monopolized by everybody. Hey, Chinny. And I saw Quixana's name over there, and I was like, oh, let me go see what's going on with Quixana. And then like walked up, and I was like, what? Look how dope Quixana look. Obviously got some levels under the old belt, and so yeah, it's I'm already seeing people in game that I'm like, oh man, aspirational. The character art the character art's really starting to pile up. And the character guys, I mean, they're knocking it out of the park. So, yeah, my whole comment about commitment is I think I'm gonna continue to stream and just say goofy career-ending shit as much as possible on the stream, so that I am forced to give this project my all, so that I can stay in the industry. I think we've said it before. It's analogous to burning the ships. We're burning the ship here. Now the other guys, they can deny. They can use all of this experience as legit industry experience. But if people are like, wait a second, was that project with Sean Lord when he lost his cotton picking mind? And we'll come up with cool stories for them to tell where they'll get empathy from the hiring manager. It was crazy. He verbally abused me. I'm so lucky to be alive. Oh, you're here. Welcome to Zippy Zip. I'm finding NPCs in the slowest manner possible. Because I'm too lazy to close Slack, bring up this database window here in an appropriate place where I can easily reach it, so I can just copy paste over into the tool like a pro. Is this the ogre? Is this ogre an SK? I recognize that tunic. I got one myself. Coolest looking item I have. Dude, yeah. He was an SK. Monotonous. What? See, that's what I'm talking about. The fact that you recognize that ogre was a specific character in game that you'd seen running around who was a Shadow Knight. That's the pineapple. I didn't say anything too crazy. Mila says, I have a former colleague who shipped Web3 hard and I feel so embarrassed. Oh, I mean, you know, I think there's probably something there that I just don't understand anymore or something. So I've never seen LinkedIn Lunatics because it's on Reddit. I'm rarely on Reddit. Ishiwatari, hallo, mein Herr. Wie geht's dir? He also skeleton minion in a picture, which may have helped. Oh, fair enough. Forgot about that part. If you need a whip crapper, I'll do crapper. If you need a whip crapper, I'll do it. Matrix Hunter, we like to crack our own whips. We like to crap our own whips here. All right. So keep this. This will stay pretty placeholder. Whip Crapper is a solid Beastmaster character name. Based on the horrific names you guys were making this playtest, I could see that. I had to change the guild's name. Though I changed it in the wrong DB, so ultimately Nick updated it for me. I had the goblin name generator. That's what we learned. That's our main takeaway from this playtest. Has anyone taken Poop Stalkers as a guild name yet? Not yet, but depending, one of these days that may or may not get nerfed. Still a little. Well, we've got to figure out where our thresholds are. No, this guild's name, and you if you're part of the guild, you know I'm about to talk about you. This guild's name, everybody that's not wearing headphones, turn the volume down. If you don't like suggestive names, earmuffs real quick. The kids are in the room, earmuffs. But the name of the guild was the word my. Dixie, like whistling. Rekt, R-E-K-T. And it was not on a PvP server, I don't think. And so Justin Beer's like, I don't get it. You got to say it out loud. All three words together, Justin Beard. Don't say it out loud, though. If you're McDonald's, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah, so we renamed them the Softies and gave them a new guild message of the day. Nicodemus says, I love how I try to be professional while streaming, watching what I say, not wanting to mess up. And you're always like, don't overthink it. It's hard to do. Maybe once I get comfortable, I'll mess up enough to have to ask forgiveness. Well, Nicodemus, I am a trained professional. So you do have to watch. Don't overthink it, but also you're not allowed to mess. So just keep those two thoughts in your mind at all times. Actually, I don't know that I agree with that decision that I just made. Let me check the document. Hey, Red Cloud. Monotonous said, "I remember you guys gave him a chance to change it. Other alternatives are almost as bad." Yeah, it was brought to my attention. I think First was talking to him or something, so I just was like, "Let's just change it in the database." I'm sorry to hear your McDonald's experience was not the best. Twitch tried to auto mod your guild name, Coon. Not your name, but your guild name. Okay, actually, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to use these guys somewhere else. Oh, I remember there's a thing I wanted to try over here, so I'll use these for that. Yeah, interesting. Oh no, it is working. Okay. There's a waste company we do business with called White Trash Services. I'll see if I can find a picture and post it on Discord. Or they just come to your office or something. Oh yeah, and 2 is actually perfect. Depending on where we put the zone line here. May have to move this around. Any chance to hear a new Ashira song from Rob in the background? Yeah, it'll come up. Dula 69, it'll come up on this rotation. It's on the playlist now. Mila says, "I've been moving so slowly. I've been working on server code for my game finally." Yeah, that's a whole thing, right? I mean, look at us iterating and iterating, stuff like that. Not easy. Where does the new Ashira song play in game? Oh, good question. I thought it played in the Hidden Valley outside of the Shaded Dune entrance. Spoilers. Oops. Yeah, Melis, that's all stuff that I'm not. That's fortunately, there's plenty of stuff that I don't have to have a ton of awareness of. Feel like I'm looking at TOV front steps almost. Yeah, I mean, or wait, VO. Oh, yeah. When I saw TOV, I immediately thought VOZ for whatever reason, because this is actually VOZ right there. Sorry. It's not TOV. Clearly, it's not TOV. But when I saw that, the V confused me. You work at a Mack truck dealership? How's that these days? I have a cousin that is a truck driver, and an aunt who's a truck driver. Actually, let's do him. Will stuff like charming some of those NPCs or merchants allow trading, or will be quest triggered around them? There's some quest stuff in. I don't know about using them with charm. Anniversary of the first build of the game, but I have it listed as starting in July 2020. Oh shit, dude. It's funny you mentioned that, Nick. Wow. Yeah, because last month was my wedding anniversary. Jasmine and my mom's birthday are this month. I was like, there's something else going on. Yeah. The whole project starting thing. Is this Fallen Past? It is. Could have sworn you said there was a way to way to this beach area from shaded dunes through the water, but I went there and only found a visible wall. Eventually, it may not be. It may not be working yet, chili sauce, but we'll get that fixed. You'll eventually be able to move along. So that's facing north. You'll be able to go around and then go east. No, west. Speaking of factions, are they implemented in any meaningful way? I've tried using the Bard faction song and didn't notice the appreciable difference in conning. I'm not sure about the song, but Nick just popped in, so he may know. In terms of like factions themselves, I think there's going to be a lot of. I think there are going to be some. Well, not I think we'll need some passes on the factions and more factions and cleaner integration. A lot of times, like in here, a lot of times I'm just reusing like so much shit just on undead or plagueborn in here at the moment, and or on the vermin's brood. And over time, we'll have more nuanced factions, right? Like the sub factions that are linked to those factions, all this. So it's fairly placeholdery, Hindo. Hindo, I thought I saw you playing on somebody's stream. You were in one of the groups I was watching at one point, I thought. Were you in a group with or around like either Dirty Old Socks or Tangent or faction buffs need some tech work, Nick thinks. Night Harbor might be one big plane of tactics pit war exploit at the moment. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see how we can both do all the faction stuff we want to do, but also not have it be chaos. But I do think right? Like there's going to be a certain amount of people just dragging shit into other shit that's bound to happen, but I think that's probably okay. Right? Like that's kind of the flavor, right? Like if you drag the red mantles over to their enemies and a big brawl ensues, that's cool, I guess. I mean, there may or may not be some exploits there, but hopefully that doesn't get in the way of fun. Hindo said, yeah, I've played with both Tangent and Dirty Old Socks. Okay, I thought I saw your name. It's an easy one to spot. Because it's Hindo. Looks like a good fishing spot. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's one of those things. Everything's one of those things with me apparently. We've got so many nooks and crannies and little fun areas that we don't have to rush to fill it all right away, right? There's some stuff we can leave some breathing room, some gaps, and then over time you may discover that, you know, what if there's an interesting fisherman that shows up here every once in a while, that kind of thing, right? So some stuff like that. You're the bard puller. Cool. That's that's a testament to your abilities. Being a well-respected, world-renowned bard who gets an impulse for all these guys. Honestly, I don't know. I'm just making conversation. Might as well plop some dots in here, and then we'll update the actual what's on them. Phil said, Nick, is July when NWC was formed, or when you guys got together and said, hey, let's do this? If I'm not mistaken, I've got to go look at the screens. July was like when we started talking, if I remember correctly. Our little DM. We slipped into each other's DM. NWC was formed in March or April 2021. I'd have to look at the documents. Yeah, the official formation of it. But yeah, we were a team already well before then. We've traditionally used September as our anniversary in the past. Because that's when it was really like, hey, did we just become best friends? But I mean, we went pretty much from like those first DMs to running around with each other in Unity like within a week or two. Like I said, I put together the first design docs based on conversations here and with Sean in July 2020. Who came up with the name? I did. I will claim that one. I try to be humble and self-deprecating, but I will claim the name. Because I swear I was like, guys, this is gonna sound real stupid, but you gotta hear me out. Hear me out. This is not normal, this name for an MMO, but hear me out. Can we do it, please? Can we do it? Can we do it? Was July 2020 project in? Yes. We operated. I still have all my stuff in my personal drive is still in the project in folder for nostalgia. Hey, Zukin. Didn't like the name at first, but it's starting to stick now. A lot of people didn't like the name at first. How close are we to seeing levitate available to use? I assume it depends on how server is. Not sure. That's one of those ones we definitely want to talk about and make sure that it. I think different folks have different thoughts on that one. Monotonous asks, will the Screevar faction be similar to Ashira, where players can theoretically help them do quests for them? Unsure on the Screevar. The Screevar are pretty shitty. They're not nice creatures. We kept getting a giant trade pulled on us. Telekir starting to wonder if it's some kind of suicide goblin just leroying into the sheer side. Getting distracted is probably just pathing bugs. There's a few pathing bugs in there that will just guarantee insane trains. Unless they've been changed, but Indo said being a puller is definitely give me a leg up on figuring out the layout where all the goodies are located. Yeah, I mean that's the job. Of course, more than once my group has heard me say something like, "Oh, what's that?" followed by "I fucked up" or something. Like a piece of candy followed by, well, shit, just let me die. I saw a couple pulls like that. I forget which group it was for though. But I mean, that's pulling. That's actually when pulls like that happen, it's nice watching a group that's kind of got things dialed in, and it's just kind of like it's just, you can tell they've got the spawns wired and all of that stuff. And they're, they're a solid group, but it's always nice to see that even within that solid group there are those moments where it's like, oh, and then things get a little chaotic. That's, it's nice to see it because again, our content model isn't one that's super elaborate, and it's not a complex content style, but just little things can happen that lead to some more complex emergent scenarios, which is what you run into. And how do you guys not have to like fight Nintendo for that project? Well, because it was never official, we never filed like a trademark or anything. We trademarked Monsters and Memories. Fluffy Chow, thank you for the follow. Lemon Candies. I thought you were somebody else at first. I read your name as somebody else. Lemon Candy says, yesterday's update had concept art for some gods. Has NWC decided how they're treating gods in this world? What do you, can you narrow that down? That's the kind of for me at least, it feels like it's a bigger, that is like a bigger question. It's a fairly open-ended question. Are they tangible entities or concepts? They'll be both with a predominant of the latter. So you may encounter some gods, but for the most part, we want to have many varied. So think of us more Forgotten Realms and less EverQuest in that regard. And you may not realize you're interacting with some gods. You may not realize you have a god in your possession. You may not realize you're instigating the arrival or awakening of certain gods. That kind of thing. I mean, they're a plot device, right? Nick, are you just waking up? Are you still in bed? Are they gonna rule us with an iron fist? Probably not. The gods are supposed to be. They're supposed to be pretty hands off. Nah, you've been up for hours. Oh, okay. Yushu says, wanted to say had a great time during the playtest. Got to get a bunch of time with my wife and brother as well as my pop. Pretty cool. Thanks for letting us share. That's super cool. What did you guys think? Love hearing when people actually are playing with their families and stuff. And that's really fun. Exactly, Mayless. Well, he is an old man gamer, so I had to hold his hand through some quests and mud commands. How'd that go? Was that okay? The amount of times he told me it was bugged, then I waited a minute and he said, oh, here it is. Nice. Were you guys all on like a Discord together or something? It is fallen past. Texture work is still very much in progress, but it is fallen past. And then it went well. He got into the flow of it. Nice. Yeah, all in Discord. He's a bad typer too. How old is he? Can I ask? And you said your wife loved the cave with all the pretty mushrooms and colors best. She wanted to show it off to everyone. Nice. About 70. That's pretty badass. Was he always a gamer or? He loved EQ, bought us all $50 Pantheon gift about a decade ago. Yeah, always a gamer. That's super cool to hear, man. That's neat. Check says, hi Sean, playtest was super fun on the weekend. Was showing it to my brother-in-law. He's pretty jazzed about the game too. Is he a former EQ or MMO player as well, or is this a new experience for him? They're like, hey, check out this video game. Yushu says, I scratched his Diablo CD-ROM back in the day, and he made me personally return it. My first foray into adulthood. That's badass. Teaching you to be responsible. I'll just make this. He wants to roll a halfling warrior. You got a I didn't read the first part. You got a fresh 14-year-old waiting to play robot. He wants to roll a halfling warrior. That's badass. Your son got a kick out of the game, showed him around Night Harbor and various players moving around. Oh, that's sick. We got multiple generations already. Success. You want to? Frankavine says, I want to see a YouTube series where the 14-year-old and 70-year-old duo together. That'd be pretty cool. I think that would be pretty interesting. Maybe you guys should get together and set up your loved ones and get that going. I think that'd be some good content, man. Content. I'm starting to feel that word is a little, but it's true. It's something I would watch. Check said, we never played EQ, but we were both big fans of Classic WoW. Well, that's sick then. That's still cool. Justin, can't wait to get a recliner. I'm limited to like maybe 2 hours max, and I have to go lay down again. Yeah, that's a bummer, dude. I've got faith you guys are gonna get it figured out. Yushu says, thanks for your time and being so responsive. I will go back to my lurking. Had a really good time. Appreciate everyone's hard work, dedication, and little bits of love. Hey, you know what? I appreciate the story. That's a high point. That's going to be a high point of my week. Thinking about your 70-year-old dad. I was thinking about a survey that asks like different ranges of age, because I'm very curious to maybe talk to some of the people on the very high end and some of the people on the very low end. Darren said, oh, I plan on streaming me and my son when we play. It's already decided. Nice. Nice. Oh, go home. New command. Pause. 20. Hopped in for lunch. Chamberor says, hopped in for lunch. Just want to say thanks for the weekend and chiming in on questions during the stream. And thanks to Zukin for showing us the infested crypt. You're welcome on all count. Matrix Hunter said, I had a lady in my guild in EQ that was in her 70s or 80s. She was cool. I remember there was a fanfare that had a grandfather, father, grandson, and maybe like wife or sister. I remember there being a woman there as well, and they all always played EverQuest together. There were some good articles that came out about basically Fortnite and it being a place where families could get together and kind of hang out, and what a big deal that was. And I think, you know, when I read that, I was like, yeah, it's just that's MMOs for you. Um, so So it becomes, yeah, their family game or their third place, their place where they can get together and spend some time together, right? It's like hanging out around the Monopoly table if your family table, board, whatever. My mom and I played Dungeon when I was a little kid. She bought me the Dungeon game, probably part of why I'm here today. But she bought me the old Dungeon board game, and with the scary ass like black ooze and stuff. Remember that game? Yeah. You can still get it. Like they've got new versions of it or whatever. Zukin said I led them to their death. Yeah, that's good. It's the Yushu's enjoyed it. Their deaths piled up after you left, Zukin. My guild will not group with me now. Nick, did you see all the mini messages in Slack? The mini messages. Cool. There was something earlier that I wanted to. What the? There's something earlier that I wanted to tell you guys. I wanted to talk about. Now I can't remember. Survey? No. That Discord numbers? No. Because I feel like survey stuff was covered in Discord. But maybe that was it. But now I just don't. I don't feel like talking about it. I don't think. I don't remember what it is now. So it must not have been that important. Uh it's not a big deal. People were looking for? No. I honestly don't remember. What I had for lunch? Did anything weird happen today? Nope, nope. Got rained on. That was pretty intense. Went out with the dog for a went out for a quick walk and it just started like drop, 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 and then all the rain in the sky fell at one moment on us, and it was like, all right, well, I guess we're soaked now. But that's also not what I wanted to mention. I don't remember. Is it weird living in Germany or just used to it by now? Hey, Death by Gnomes. I'm super used to it. I've been in Europe between like Germany and Sweden. I've been here for going on 10 years. Next year will be 10 years. And it's kind of flown by. I mean, I spent a lot of my childhood, like my early childhood in Germany. So for me, it's fairly normal. I mean, on one hand, there's some really cool perks to being here. On the other hand, there are some reminders on occasion of why the US is awesome. But yeah, why do you ask, Matrix? Just random, helping me out. You're like, I have a random question. Help us pass the time. A little small talk, chit chat. Are there any remnants of the Berlin Wall still there, or they got rid of it? No, they still got some. They've got like it's kind of like an outdoor museum thing. I don't know all the details of everywhere, but there's a place in Berlin you can go to, and you can see like a remaining like tower and trunk and stuff. The thing that's really cool to check out is actually in Leipzig, the Stasi Museum. That is an interesting one to check out. If you want a museum dedicated to people ratting out their neighbors and generally being anti-freedom, cool place. You have pieces of Berlin Wall on display here in Canada. Oh, right on. I guess that makes sense, right? Hey, Fat Matt loves spaghetti. Was your name Spaghetti in game this weekend? Were you in game as Spaghetti? Yep, I thought I saw you. I was gonna ask. Darius says, random question: did you know Jamie Ryan on EQ team back in the day? Yep, I will always remember Jamie Ryan, programmer. And he didn't curse. It's against his like personal beliefs. I don't, I'm not gonna go too far into what they are, but so he didn't curse. So when he was getting really upset, then he would say frickin', and that was a big deal. Someone showed me an interview where he explained how around the time of Gates of Discord, they began to change the collision system totally. Okay. Was that around when they were like switching the pathing to be A star or something like that? Not really my area of expertise, but oh, cool. Is this interval? No. Is that interval? Nope. Cool. Somebody with okay. Xiao Wang said game is coming along really nice. It ran very smooth over the weekend. What server did you play on? And where were you for the most part? Wait, what was their pathing before that? It wasn't A star. I thought they had used like repurposed. It wasn't out of Tanner, so it was like a racing games pathing. Essentially, we had P point system, pathing point system, where we set boundaries that served as kind of like a box, or I don't know, something that allowed them to link in code that kind of moved. Every zone, like a designer would have to come through and place these points around the zone, like left right points that kind of defined where NPCs can move around. I think we get into it in one or two of the EverQuest interviews I did. If you haven't seen those, check them out. I did a bunch of interviews with EQ folks, programmers and designers and stuff. They get into the detail. They speak to it more than I can. EQMF folks wanted to get boats working in newer clients, and they are researching what broke them. Satan. The boats are always being affected by astrology and deviltry. Indo said, work won't let me be. So many questions they don't understand. I'm trying to get out. What do you do? Have you mentioned it before? Oh, interesting, Nick. I'm looking at that screenshot. Zhao Wang said, West Coast, just starter areas, made multiple characters, trying new classes. What I like to hear. But I'm glad it wasn't too bad of an experience for you. I know there were some different. I think West Coast was that the one that was running a bit smoother? We had some weird ass issues. Nick's posting interesting screenshots in Slack, so I'm neglecting you guys. I'm sorry. Hendo said, I work in IT, asset management, a lot of license compliance and asset tracking. Oh yes, that is a job that I think it gets too much thanks. There's too many people who go out of their way to thank you for your efforts, and I think it's unfair to the rest of the team that you get so much love for what you do. Current role has me creating a lot of framework for the department to help establish industry best practices, realign job functionalities, put some responsibilities on stakeholders, creating policies and procedures, etc. Yeah, man. Hey, if you enjoy it, awesome, awesome possum. But I can picture the work that you're doing. My joke is that was my sarcasm. It's a thankless job. There's you know, and there's a lot to what you do. So if you don't hear it at work, I'll say it for them. Thank you. Oh wait, you know what? I'm editing the wrong dude. Let's add another one. I'm so distracted right now, but hey, that's part of the job, right? Unchained P99 says the community was super impressed with the quick responsiveness of the team to in-game issues. Nick was all over the place putting out fires. Yeah, he's incredible during these tests. Dude's all over the place. He's leading the way and first, and the other folks on the team that were helping. Definitely thank you to them as well. But I saw him running around fixing people's spellbook issues and just all sorts of stuff. So I'm sure he / they are hearing it, and you're very welcome. We're always just amped that you guys are around and checking out the game and continuing to be super positive and showing it to your friends and your guilds and apparently your fathers and your teenage kids and all that shit. So that's pretty huge. I know what I was thinking about, but I think we already covered a little bit. I mentioned I popped onto LinkedIn earlier, and it's just when I think about the state of the industry, sometimes I think about the look at games that come out and cost just hundreds of millions of dollars to make. It makes me so thankful that we have the opportunity to approach development the way we have so far. I don't see how you go live with a game and then realize there's no market for it. After doing what we've been doing, I mean, and let's get real. You guys are all fantastic, but we've got a small community. But man, we've learned so much from you guys, and I think if there's any opportunity to be to be successful in any way, it all starts with even a smaller community like this of people going, hey, this is good, this is bad, here's the feedback, shit like that. Like these games out there that just have they're the way I frame it is like developing in the dark. That's what I feel like. I don't know that I could ever go back to developing in the dark again. This is the most unique way that I've ever worked in game development. But to me, it's been super, super fascinating. And super fascinating and very insightful. Kind of reminds me of your hat in a weird way. What? What does that mean? It's a normal hat. My hat? Or like a wizard hat in the game? My hat? Are you talking to me? Deving in the dark, black on black. Oh, yeah. It's just, it's nothing fancy. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I gotta minimize some stuff so I can see it. My shiny ass hairline. It's just American flag. It's a nice design. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I have two hats exactly like this one. One is so damn dirty and greasy. It's waterproof now. Like, I don't care what temperature you wash it at. It's the grease does not, the oil does not come out of it. But it's exactly like this one. With but the patch is a little more roughed up. You've never seen me without my hat before? Here, look. I have a head under the hat. I don't have very much hair. It's pretty. With the light blasting down on it. It's there. It's just a little fuzzy. Yeah, I've realized people probably haven't seen me with my hat on very much. I'm just always wearing a hat. I've seen it said that only Americans wear baseball caps, so the Europeans see someone wearing one, they know they're American. Is that accurate? No. Black ball caps or black hats are ultra common in the area of Germany that I'm in. Because I live in Bremen, which is close to Hamburg. And it's just like tons of young people rock black ball caps. Moved to Jersey from California recently, and the level of baseball caps over there is off the charts. Did they have the California like super flat brimmed baseball caps though? That's something that I felt was fairly exclusive to California. Look like you're about to go race your dirt whatever on the dunes. I must have been watching your early non-hatted Eminem memories videos on YouTube where you're working in Blender. Oh yeah. No, that was like, those were the early development days, like 4 years ago. With clothing, I get in a habit. Once I start doing something with clothing, it's easier for me to always do that same thing every day. So I think I've said before, I wear the same, I mean, they fit differently based on age, but I wear the same H&M slim fit black t-shirts every day. Wear the same jeans or shorts every day. That's it. Once I find something that works, and I don't have to think about it. I know that I like it. I know what it looks like. When it comes to buying more of it, it's pretty easy typically. It's easy to mix and match, yeah. That as well. You're into Cubana shirts lately. What is that? Is that, I just pictured that being like a button-up floral print shirt. Is that what that is? Linen for tropical environments. Oh, so like the white kind of billowy button down linen-y shirt. I think I have one of those actually. I think I have one, and it's that's like the only, I mean, I've got like a small collection of rest clothes that I never wear that I bought and don't want to get rid of because they're expensive. But I've got a white one that's like my go-to. Also, why Sean isn't doing the art for fashion in Eminem. Oh, John, I don't think that's fair. I am quite the fashionista. I just don't like to. I don't like to dress myself up. I dress everybody else up. What's the difference between the green spheres and the cones? I'm assuming they have to do with NPC passing. Yeah, so the spheres are the actual spawn points. Yeah, I guess I keep assuming you guys know what I'm doing in here, so I'm just kind of talking to you as I click stuff very slowly. But hey, what's up, Isan? So these guys are our spawners. We have 3 different sort of mechanisms for spawning NPCs into the game. One is a point spawn, so it spawns specifically at this point with this orientation. We've got spheres, and I can show you here even sphere, which that's a pretty big sphere. So let's just say it's like this big. And then so it'll spawn randomly within that sphere, random location, random orientation. Then we have box, and same deal, right? And then these volumes, the sphere and the box volume spawners, they can also be then used for like wander within. So when you see like NPCs kind of like spawn and then they kind of just wander around in a space, that's what we're doing here. Like if you look at this guy over here, that's what it is. And then we can define how many NPCs spawn. So 2 NPCs of this encounter table or spawn group, like knights, will spawn here. And then it rolls the dice based off of the data in this table, right? Right, so if we look at this as an example, you know, if it's Plague Knights, then it's going to be 60% chance it's this one, 30% that one, 10% the other one. So that's how we control the variability. What's normal spawn timer? If I'm not mistaken, it's 5-minute spawn timer. And so that's just kind of default that we're working off of, unless I'm mistaken. I could be mistaken. It's amazing how much like that I get wrong. My brain's just so full of so many other wonderful things. And then we can also set them to custom time, a longer time, if I'm not mistaken, on boss, but like I don't think we ever use that. And then no spawn, then it makes it a triggered spawn, right? So then some trigger or condition will cause it. You use other presets, or pretty much everything is normal right now? Everything's normal. It's normal. Dayhawk said, what does Scooby-Doo use to clear up villages? A raggy. That's pretty funny. And that's a completely appropriate, like that's not an inappropriate joke at all. So people can tell that. Like, much better than an inappropriate joke that you can't tell everywhere. Oops. Hey, Lisava. Sean's doing work? Question mark, exclamation mark. Not really, Lisava. I'm pretending to do work. For content. Are there a lot of triggered spawns in the game currently? Define a lot. Hey, Dark Inside. I mean, there are a few. There are some in this zone. There's a couple triggered spawns in this zone where you gotta do stuff and then you trigger it. Like, you gotta do things. Like, you gotta play the game. How hard is it to create weapons in game? Is it hard to implement a new weapon? Let's say, for example, I want to make a rod start with staff geo. You mean like the art for weapons? Why am I modifying this guy? I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing is what's going on. Is that what you mean, Nicodemus? Implementing in Unity, I have no effing clue. Making the weapons in game from scratch, I have no idea. But I did a lot of the weapons. I'm not gonna say all because we've got new weapons in. I did a lot of the original weapons years ago. And I don't know if that episode exists on YouTube or not, but that was a fun day. Because I didn't make a single weapon from scratch. I don't know. I told you that story, haven't I, Bill? This is essentially how the weapons were all made. There was a sword that we had made for us, and we had the blend file, and the sword consisted of is a very simple sword. It was something like, because we had the original Holt character made for us. And the sword wound up being like this many verts. Oh no. Now I'm just kind of screwing it up. It was like this many verts, right? So it's just kind of like doop, doop, doop. Yeah, I don't know if this is actually going to make sense at this point. There's probably... Anyway, this janky ass thing. Imagine this is a sword. Let me show off my art skills. So we had this sword that was just made of this shit. And this is not a... I should have just showed you the freaking example in Blender or something. Look at this sword. It's so good. Look at this sword. This is This is a real life depiction of the sword, the first sword. This is lore. This is the first sword in the game. This is the first cosmetic. Anyway, so this was our perfect first sword. Oh fuck! There's not even. Where's the dot? I gotta add more dots. More dots. Okay. Wait, no. I'm not. This is serious. This is game development, guys. This is serious shit. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So this was our sword. Sword. Yes, that is the file. Don't click it. So here's where we started, and all I did, and this is paint, so it's gonna be impossible to even show you. Why did I do this? Anyways, so what I did, like the hammer wound up. I pulled the vert to make it flat, so it's literally the hammer. The reason why it's got depth, it is in 3D, because our game is a 3D game. Oh shit! So imagine that's 3D. That is nearly all the dimensions that you can perceive. If you look at like the axe, the hammer, all the shit that's in game, this is a true story. If you could recognize the significance of what I'm telling you here, you wouldn't be such smartasses about it. All I did was move those dots around, because I didn't even understand how to remove or add a vert, and I was afraid that if I removed a vert or added a vert, one of these little points, I'd break something. And so I just stretched it around like it was Play-Doh until we had a sword, an axe. And I'm gonna find the picture. You guys don't believe me. I'm making fun of the first sword. Stop. Goblin, that is a 50 DKP a minus. Documents, maybe? I'm gonna find the old Blender files and we're just gonna revert this game. What'll happen if I double click this? I haven't used this application in so many years. Maybe nothing will happen. Maybe my machine will crash and then this will be the end of the stream. Dude, we didn't have any artists on the team. What were we supposed to do? We didn't have... I don't even remember what... Oh, there we go. We didn't have any artists on the team yet. So I made some art. I was the art team. Behold my creations. How do I even make the verts appear again? Oh my god, I haven't used this application in so long. Oh, there they are. And this is how this is how... What is that even doing? This is how we Frankensteined some stuff together. It was never animated, it never worked. So this was the original guy. We contracted this guy out. And And so we had this sloth from the Goonies. How dare you call my beloved ogre? You know how much time we spent on stream getting that belly and that booty right? And then we took this guy's helmet and I made a gnome. And we put the helmet on the gnome. Because that would be funnier. And then I made the gnome. I made the gnome a hammer wrench sword. Still waiting for that wrench graphic. It is a pretty epic weapon. I don't know. I broke selection or something. I don't. How did I make a gnome and a sword? I can't even click on shit in this application. You guys taught me how to use this, and now I have no clue how to use it anymore. What's the select button? Trying to click on stuff. Oh, tab. Thank you. Shit. That's right. Okay, now we're cooking. See, it took like 2 weeks of you guys doing, like, telling me what buttons to push for us to... Oh my god, look at my posture. I just saw myself on... I look like a hobgoblin. Yeah, so anyways... So yeah, this amazing epic weapon. Look, you see, this is what I was trying to draw a second ago. You see the verts? This hammer is the exact same as this sword. All these swords all come from the original sword. This was the original sword. Everything here except the shields is a sword. It's just this sword. Since then, the team, we have artists now that can actually make real art. And oh, I figured out, I also, oh, I was proud of myself on this one. I figured out how to make a crystalline weapon. That was pretty fun. And the original sword is in game if I'm not mistaken. I tried to make Rusty in Photoshop. See my Rusty attempt on the texture. Not too bad, right? That's not too shabby. Here I am. I'm like begging for your adoration. I'm fishing. I'm farming compliments right now. And then all these shields, literally just this shield. Again, you just, because I was afraid to touch any of I just basically grabbed some dudes here and went, okay, new shield. There we go. We're good now. That's kind of an orc shield, right? That's a good orc shield. And naturally, it's the UV's all busted, but you can pretend like that's intentional. Move one vert, new shield. Call it a day. that was our plan for this game early on. We're just like, we're gonna get in here. We're gonna move these verts and then watch. You know what? What am I doing? That's it, guys. I'm on the art team again. I'm back on the art team. How did I get shit even? I did like I did it in the probably a weird hacky way. I think I selected both verts and then no, not like that. That's just that's there was something that I was doing to try to make stuff work evenly. I think it was scaled it. So I'd select two of something and then I'd scale it. Oh shit, now we got what did I just do there? I mean, I can't even navigate this thing anymore. And then that's not what we wanted. I'm completely sidetracked now. I'm not getting anything done. All right. That side's weirder than the other side. That's a orc spear. The artists are probably they're shaking their heads right now. Look, how many damn points does this thing have? How many verts are in here and why? These things they probably had to do so much cleanup work just to get this shit into to work in the game at all. Oh my god. So yeah, so that's what I was trying to. That's what Zukin's eating his hat. Zukin's just like he's in his house screaming right now. Stop! Stop it! Is it a money hat? It will be after we put this sword in the game. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for posting this, though. I may try to add a weapon at some point. Think about it, Bill. I mean, if you want to, but I would say I would always I might be the fun police on that and just be like, you know what? Um, I would focus. I would focus on content, but are you guys busting my balls in Slack right now as well? Yes. Oh my god. It's that sword exists already. Oh. I'm gonna show this. We've made the perfect sword. I don't say that is the perfect sword. Other people have said that this is the perfect sword. But I think it is the perfect sword. That is a Chad sword right there. Boom. Thank you, Bill, for being a smartass and lurking. It's more crooked than your sense of humor. I'm glad that's what you used as the comparison. Now that we know how low our bar is, I expect to see 50 new weapon models a day soon. Hey, you heard him, Goblin. Goblin commented on that up earlier. We just gotta lower our standards. We've gotten too close to the sun, boys. We've gone from capsule people to being Icarus. You want a giant pizza paddle as an axe? I can make you one of those today. All go dev. Stress test went really well. I mean, people seem to have fun. Please add that to the game. I hope not. $1,000 backer item. Yeah. That should be the GM sword. But for real, we need to get the wrench hammer sword in. Rusty sort of decapitation, more like decrapitation, am I right? Oh, you need a broomstick? I cannot make a broomstick because well, I guess if it would be a broomstick with a lot of extra birds. Broken Stoic. Welcome. How are you doing? How are your people? What are you up to other than ending your stream? How you guys doing? Was playing some live EverQuest today. Teak server, right on. Height. But over the weekend before that, were you playing our game? Was trying to bring more awareness into Monsters Memories, and you as a person streamer. Bring all the awareness to Monsters and Memories, but I would encourage all of you to watch. You should watch Pattis' stream or Zukin stream or Goblin stream or any other team stream. I'm not always the best representative of the project. Awareness of me as a person. Help me, I have no self-awareness. No, I welcome all of you. Those of you that do not know me, I am Sean. I have worked on some MMOs over the years, and most recently I am working on Monsters and Memories. If you guys like EverQuest, I did some EverQuest interviews with some folk. You can find them on my personal YouTube. It's probably like 60 hours worth of interviews with some really good guys, like some dudes that programmers on EQ, artists, designers, even a couple people that worked on other stuff. I mean, they all worked on other stuff after EverQuest, but I mean, didn't work on EQ. No, but you have some of the most unique perspectives based on where you came from and the project you're working on now. I appreciate it. And in all seriousness, thank you for bringing your people over here. It's always nice to get a little exposure to new folks. If you're not aware of the project, Monsters and Memories, check out the link. We run stress tests and play tests every once in a while. We are a in development indie MMO. We're just hitting our 4th year of development. The first year, it was funny. I was just showing some pretty random stuff. I don't know if you were around for that. No, because you just got here. I was just showing some like really old art before we had artists on the team. The first year it was just 4 of us and we had no artists. And yeah, we really just focused on the tech and design, gameplay. We had like a working build the first week, and it's kind of been that way ever since. So that's why we have people come in and play with us fairly regularly. Who were the original 4? Alphabetical order: Ollie, Bunny, Nick, and me. And of the original 4, 3 of us are around. We're the 3 partners. Which, if you've seen the Three Amigos movie, you should picture us like that. Um, I would prefer to. I think I'd probably wind up being more of a Chevy Chase than a Steve Martin, I guess. Um, hey Jasmine, my wife is in chat. Does that mean you're on a bus? Martin Short is the one to be. I know, that's why I didn't claim him. I didn't claim him. I'll pick Chevy Chase just because Nick has already told me that I'm Chevy Chase in his book. That went on my list. Nick things Nick has said about me. I put it's in the second column, not in the first column. Because I wasn't sure if I should take it as a positive. He called me Chevy Chase. He tried to recover from it and try to make it seem like Chevy Chase was cool, but I've always been more of a Dan Aykroyd, at least in physical appearance. I've got some pictures where I actually looked. When I was in my 30s, I hit a point where with my hair, because I had more at the time, I can show you the pictures. I look like Dan Aykroyd out of Trading Places. Was it because I linked the one Christmas Vacation clip? It's because you literally said that I was him, Nick. It's on my list. Borlak, not these days. Um, do you write those in your death note? Oh. Chevy Chase had a stroke? I didn't know that. Jasmine said I forgot my keys, so unfortunately I'm going to ring the bell when I get home. That's okay. Then you can take your crazy little puppy who will be losing his mind because the bell rang, and you can take him outside real quick. When's Erkenstaff going to stream Eminem art stuff again? I'm not sure, but we need to bug him. I'll have to find the Trading Places. I remember because I lived in San Diego, and within the course of like 6 months, I had 2 different young women that worked at well, I think one worked at my buddy's company, and another one was maybe some random. No, I think they both. No. Anyways, that part doesn't matter. They're like, you remind me of Chevy Chase. And I was just like, is that a good thing? You said Clark Griswold. Exactly. Exactly. That is a specific Chevy Chase character, Nick. That is very specific. Because that's not even just Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase, always kind of a bumbling protagonist. But you said Clark Griswold in Lampoon's Christmas movie. That's a very specific. I think you know what you're doing when you said that. I appreciate you try to recover. You try to make him sound cooler afterwards, but it was already on my list. when we meet next week, I will show you the list. I'll bring it with me. I'll I'll reach into my coat. I'll be like, have there been any Clark Griswold moments in during development? Oh, there's always something. Every single time that Nick and I play EverQuest together. Did you not see the sword? Yeah, I mean, you couldn't miss it. Now I feel like Rodney Dangerfield. Have you seen the size of our sun and moon? That's Christmas Vacation. What do you mean? Hmm? They're perfect. I remember I posted at some point a picture of like giant moon, and everybody in Stack is like, that's just, it's an optical illusion in pictures. And I went out, I think when we were at the festival even, the moon was effing huge. I was like, see, those guys are wrong. Those guys don't know anything about moons or suns. Okay, honest, true story right now. The most Clark Griswold moment of development was when I had a perfect plan for how to fund the game, and then it turned out it was just a Jam in a Month collection. That was it. we waited, we thought we were funded, and it's just Jam in a Month. But it's good because Ollie is a big fan of bread. So we gave it to Ollie. That's what it is, Jelly. I've got a horribly inappropriate jam jelly joke, but I absolutely can't say it here. Unchained says, my dad looks like Chevy Chase. I gave him crap about it all the time. Liz Biscuits loves Trading Place. Yeah, I mean, it was an epic movie. I'm just taking my time, placing mobs. Your dad looked exactly like Rutger Hauer. Do you look anything like your dad, or? I mean, because that's pretty good genes. Not at all? I'm interested. Well, kudos to your dad for looking like an absolute Chad. Oh, sounds like Jasmine's probably home. My dog just made some sounds, so I may hop up in a minute to let her in. Bucker's a big old pimp. Blind Fury is how I came up with the name Unchained Fury. Really? I see a lot of those movies on Plex that I haven't seen around in forever. May have to dust it off. Wife doesn't have a key? No, I don't let her have a key. That's dangerous. No, she forgot her key. Doesn't have a key. On the bus now? Okay. He heard something. He heard something. I think he's just anticipating it. Whoever's at the door is not me. Well, she's very insistent that she stay. Do not open the door. Oh, wouldn't that would be something? That would definitely be like a fairly cheesy horror movie. Blade Runner is such a good role for him, Rucker Hauer. Walk Among Bones. Thank you for the follow. We've got a number of named for this area that I'll have to kind of go through. Probably winnow down the list. Oop. And likely we'll put some more mobs in this area. And we'll get a few of them in here, but then we'll probably move more of it down into here. Some of those ideas. Rucker was the best part of Blade Runner. I always thought Ford was stiff. That might be like a meta joke, though. Did you see the second one? Jasmine and I saw the second one in the theater. Enjoyed it. Yep, Darius, that was that's what I was shooting for right there. Alita Dark Angel said, "I thought it was John Cena. What what led to And thank you for the follow." My looks when I was younger, John Cena. I've never heard that one before in my life. John Cena. Why did I almost type Jenna Jameson? That is the weirdest flip ever. They're not even the same name. John Cena. Except, yeah, I mean that's fitting. Nobody knows what John Cena looks like though. Is that a meme? Yep. That looks exactly that is exactly like me right there. uh, I can do it. You can't see him. Is that I honestly I was not following wrestling once he became a thing. I missed all of that lore. If you said like Dusty Rhodes, Jake the Snake Roberts, then I would be like I could see that. I could if you told me I look like Dusty Rhodes, I would take that as a compliment. Junkyard Dog. My wife can attest that in private I look a lot like John Cena. Bam Bam Bigelow. That's a name I haven't heard in forever. You've met Jake the Snake? That dude, is he how tall is he? He's like 6'5" or something like that, right? He's a tall guy. That was his retro stick. He's like, you can't see me. Now I want to know everything about that lore. Cool. All right. Dude, there's a bunch of stuff that was discussed up here. WWF was, I mean, that was like the era for me as a kid. Alita Dark Angel, I appreciate your reference. Lemon Candies, thank you for the follow. Mr. Fuji ran a theater in Knoxville, Tennessee at the old East Town Mall. That's another name I haven't heard forever. Macho Man really was a classic. What we got going on here? Jake the Snake is 6'5", but he's still 5 inches shorter than your cousin. Sorry, man. My throat. Dude, cola flavored Fisherman's Friends. I've discovered these today. They're delicious. There's so much cola flavored stuff in Germany. I love it so much. Okay, my wife's at the door. She gave me the secret password. I'll be right there. But before I do, excuse me. Stonelistic, that's super cool that you knew who he was and he was excited about it. That's such an awesome feeling. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh my god, that's so funny. So there's a delay. There's a delay on the stream. Naturally, you guys get that. Jasmine doesn't understand these things. So I surprised her. Came down, opened the door. She's still looking at her phone. She's like, ah. Oh. That was great. What's the word for friend in German? Freund. I'm like the Flash, and that's not just because I'm not wearing pants. Oh my gosh. So, areas that I've still got to do. Here, I've got to make the unique NPCs for here and get them in. I just put placeholders in for now. I need to throw the uniques in to the inside of the Overwatch over here, but everything on the outside's good. So yeah, some unique NPCs for over there. Get the unique in for here, and then I've got to tackle this beast and get with Harrison on down here, see what sort of what our plan is for finishing out some of the structures and ruins. I probably won't spend a ton of time propping these guys just because we've got a couple new team members. We can lean on them to assist with propping. Oh, and there's this ledge as well. So lower Saman, middle Saman, upper Saman is what's left. I'm going to be on vacation next week. Vacation, it's code word for I've got to fly back to the US. I'll be in the US for a week. So no streams. And Saman with one N, but otherwise you got the spelling right. If you're near Pensacola and want to grab a coffee, and Farish, if I was near Pensacola, I'd hit you up on it. It's going to be Chicago for one day, fly to Philadelphia, be there the next day, and then fly out that evening to Orlando, be in Orlando for a day, Ocala for a couple days, and then fly back out via Orlando. That is my itinerary. It is super busy, but it's not a vacation really. We're gonna take one vacation day. So, if you guys remember, my dad passed away last month, and so basically, his father and one of his brothers are buried in a VA cemetery up in Annville. And so the and Annville is like near Harrisburg, Virginia, not Virginia, Pennsylvania. And so flying to Chicago, just because we could come in wherever, but it would seem like it'd be a cool opportunity to get to spend evening hanging out with Nick, because we haven't met in real life. So going in there, I'm gonna Jasmine and I will be there. Gonna meet Nick and family. Then the next day, we're going to fly to Philadelphia. We set the ticket up kind of like a day before the funeral, just so that if anything fucked up with the flight or whatever, we still had that morning to still get to Philadelphia, and then rent a car, drive over to where the funeral is going to be, just because to like fly into some place like Harrisburg is a ton more extra money. Ridiculous. So we're just gonna rent a car. Oh, I appreciate it, Borlick. And then yeah, then once that's done, drive back to Philly, get on a plane, fly to Orlando, and we'll have 1 day of vacation. We really love the water park, so like the Volcano Bay, blah blah blah. We really love it, so we'll do that that day, and then the next day we'll drive up to Ocala, and sort of wrap things up with my stepmom, and then fly out. Yeah, so it's not really a vacation. It's gonna be pretty busy, but it should be good. Sneaky Russian said, "Well done on the playtest, man." Hey, appreciate it. Do you have an Anvil game that has an NPC name of your recently passed family member, or have his name engraved in the Anvil at the forge? I will engrave his name on a magic sword. I have got just the one in mind. Kimosabi, thank you for the follow 6 minutes ago. Hello. Without delay. Any word on what issues were with Krivia, etc.? No, we'll get that summarized and out to you guys. We'll get the word out. Oh man, I gotta get in the right mental space to tackle this little project here. This little area. What I'll do is tomorrow I'll reread the lore. I'll wake up early in the morning if nothing higher priority has come along. Reread the lore. And then we'll get it. Oh, I almost forgot. Actually, I almost forgot. That's not the only place that we need to do. I almost forgot. Up here. So, which is kind of part of Middle Saman. So it'll be all of this, that, down there, up there, and then I would say that the bulk of the population work in this zone is done. There's a lot in here. Here, let me turn on auto spawners where you can see it. So there's some stuff going on in here. Let's see. Isomore said you should consider selling alpha access for 130. I hear it's popular now. Yeah. What can I say? Jasmine's making noise in other rooms, so I'm not talking at the moment. Sneaky Russian said, I'm going to put together a list of feedback for y'all on some stuff too, like follow, etc. Right on. Dark inside the area. Yeah, it has expanded quite a bit. We've got a... Ooh, there's a whole... Oh my gosh. Oh, I just remembered another area that needs population work. Oh, yeah. But I'm not going to show you where it's at because it's secret. Where is the one high level mob placed to slaughter us all? There is one in here somewhere that passed around that that's a good reminder. You know what? I need to write some notes. Good reminder. I've actually got a roamer, like a patrol that goes through some areas that will let's see. It's a pretty big damn zone. There's a lot going on in here. Hindo said, as a puller, I can tell you how I dislike it set up to make it a nightmare. Feel free. How dare you call that the sort of jank? You're on thin ice, John. You're going on my list. How close is Telekir to here? Not super far. You choose. Place is giving me mad Kunark vibe. Sneaky Russians. Right on. We'll take it. How many times has Sean been added to the list? It's like one of those Santa Claus scrolls. So the gnome that you guys found, you were talking about it in Discord, Marisham. Hamad came up with that character, and the Marisham was originally meant to be a male gnome, but you think the name, you guys, everybody's like, you think that she is very cute, so I think we're just gonna change that. Oh, that's a whole other area that I gotta finish. Frick. Whoop. Let's see. That's not it. Which one am I looking for? Cool. That area as well. Cool. All right. Well, that gives me some stuff to do. I mean, I guess in theory, even if we've run out of playlists. Let me go back now. Now what you're listening to is it's actually Robert running from Stonebrunt Mountain to Old Stebulist. But with his music in the background. Is there a suggestion box? I think breadcrumbs would be cool to use when exploring or in a sandstorm. Maybe they're kind of like a glowy ping for a party only. Would that be a survival ability or like a ranger ability? Survival, you think? You can leave torches, that's true. It's an expensive option. Speaking of funny things, you left a note in Shaded Dunes on the ground. I forget what it said exactly. Something inane like, good job finding this. Oh, I'm not sure. There's gonna be some stuff like that is still in from the early days, I guess. Wonder if we'll find a random note on the ground that just says 7 days. This seems too scary. Porsche said, "Hey, I don't play M&M, but I watch Real Sox play. When it's so dark on the screen that you can only see a health bar, I go watch something else. Consider amping up the watchability over the realism, in quotes, of darkness." Nah. I mean, appreciate it. If at some point we find that the gameplay, it doesn't have an impact on gameplay, or we decide that gameplay-wise we want to do it for that reason, we'll do it for that reason. But I don't think we're ever going to be a big stream game, so doing stuff just for streamability is probably not what we're going to do. But I appreciate it. Let's see. Buy the streamer a torch. Help dirty old socks out. Get him some in-game monies so that he can buy some torches. That's what you gotta do. You said you don't play, but you watch the stream. You need to play the game. So you gotta get in and you gotta play so that you can farm some gold so that you can give it to dirty old socks. So that then he has torches, so that then you can watch the stream and not go somewhere. And if it's ever so dark that you can't see on his screen, you need to tell him to get better at the game. Because he's not playing the game the right way. That is your cue, not to go somewhere else, but to harass him. Matthias says, "We just taught him how to use a lantern the other day. He's good." See, problem solved. Are there going to be any sort of repeating jobs players can do for NPC factions to increase faction ranking? I'm imagining a series of quests that reset each day, sort of like a job. Maybe. I mean, it's kind of inevitable that we run into that sort of thing. But as much as we can not make stuff feel like dailies and shit, the better. Unless it's just unless it's a specific action set that is meant to appeal to a group of people that actually like that, then I guess we can reconsider. I'm gonna save this guy just so I got one saved at 700 as a reminder. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, Hindo, we've got to, like, we ultimately we will have a problem with the fact that there's a delta between hardware configs or whatever. So we'll have to find something that kind of works, and we know that it's possible for people to tweak different settings or whatever and mitigate it. But that's not like a thing where we're like, oh no, someone did that. So I mean, it'll probably, yeah, it'll be something that we you know, look at and tweak, but it's not because we're getting complaints or whatever. It's just something that we want to continue to sort of refine and have be better. Oh shit, I just realized this whole time I've been running without the prop subscene loaded. Let me do that just in case I'm missing anything that's new that I need to be considering. You said, I think it'd be fun to feel more integrated into the city, have recurring faction jobs since regular quests are usually one and done. Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if we have something along those lines. We just, we want to avoid, you know, making it feel too work-like. So I think it's going to be really, we need to be cautious of what it's specific to. We have talked about stuff like that for like the various trade guilds and things as a potential option there. I'd be curious to see if there's a way to do it where it feels kind of cool. It doesn't feel so just kind of like log in, do your job, log out, right? That type of stuff. Let me grab 600 and we'll start over here tomorrow. What are the big blue regions? These big blue, these guys right here were back before the last, like the big playtest that we had earlier in the year. Was that June? We had the zone up, but I didn't want the zone to be completely empty when people were running around in it. I wanted stuff to be around so that they could, you know, if you ran in here, you could potentially be killed while you're exploring. And so I put in some pretty huge volumes. These are just spawn volumes. So like if I click on one of these guys, let me come over, spawn inspector. And you look, it's you know, a handful of mob in each of these volumes spawning, walking around. So there's not a ton of rhyme or reason, really, just get them in here and get them going. Is that how the glowy mushroom cave is currently? Yeah, for the most part, unless something changed. You know how I made the really badass sword earlier? Glowy mushroom cave is kind of the zone version of that sword, to be honest. The glowy mushroom cave will be an entirely new thing once we actually get in. Once it's all kind of like said and done, we've got a different design for that zone in mind. Because the secret of the glowy mushroom cave, for those of you that haven't been watching these development streams forever, the glowy mushroom cave is actually I'll tell you the secret. I'll ruin it for you, just because we're gonna change the zone. It's gonna be a different zone anyway, but it's shaded dunes with a Control D duplicate of the shaded dunes mesh turned upside down on top of it, sandwiched together with some columns pulled between the two of them. Just some minor modification of the terrain. Water put in. The road that you walk down in shaded dunes is the river, and then Pattis went in and put mushrooms in one day. That is what Deep Dunes actually is. So it'll be cool when it's its own unique little zone. But now there will be times when we do stuff like that in the future. We just won't tell you about it. We won't ruin it for you. We'll make you think that it was a super well thought out ultra custom zone. Hey, John Rick. This is Fallen Past. Yep. I am basically in the home stretch of base popping, getting rares in, etc. in Fallen Pass, and then what we'll do sometime soon is I'll hop in with Nick one day, and probably not this week, and then not next week because I'm gonna be AFK all week. But after that, we'll come in and we'll just run through and look at everything in here and talk about some of the class distributions. We'll talk about the level distribution once we got the full camp list pulled together. And we'll get to abilities. So those of you that were doing some hunting in here, those of you that were down here, and you'll find that they'll be better itemized and have more abilities and all that stuff. You spent quite a bit of time there over the weekend down in the pit, but the mobs weren't respawning well. Why weren't they respawning? Respawning's fairly straightforward. Hindo said, could be purely coincidental and me drawing correlations that don't actually exist, but do mobs at night have a higher chance of spawning in their higher level range of their bracket? Sure, why not? Nice. I found a note in Fallen Pass. Nice to see the mud system coming online there also. Hindo, stuff like that, more and more, I think. So things that you're gonna find on the stream is there are gonna be more areas and little zones that I just never go to. We've got, more stuff coming online that I'll probably never show. We'll probably talk a little bit more in the background about certain things, and the guys that are streaming will avoid certain stuff. There are a number of like spawns and things like we're talking about with regards to the mud interaction that Fielder got, stuff like that if I even reference it, it'll just be in sort of vague hand wavy ways. Same thing with triggered spawns and stuff like that. And so because the goal is to show you development, kind of keep you a little updated on what's going on with the project in general, but well, not a little on that one. So we want to keep you updated with what's going on with the project in general, period. But like stuff that we're working on, there'll be more and more things that we don't show you because we want you to find it, because that's fun. So there was a lot of weird stuff going on around the monolith. Which one? In Shaded Dunes? The pit I was just in. Huh. Yeah. And that's why I was being kind of snarky about the nighttime versus daytime spawning. Do we have the ability to have different spawns, different spawn rates, all that stuff at night versus day? We absolutely do. But the question about where and when, I think will be non-specific on, because then you guys can start coming up with your own mythology. Tupac, thank you for reminding me. Let me add that to the list right now. I would have forgotten it. While I'm in here, investigate the undead faction issue. Not attacking. And did you hear about those that can feign death, lose their animation, glide around like gods? That doesn't shock me. I didn't hear about it. Who's the next dev team member to go full time after Nick? We don't. There's no like set plan for that. Nick went full time because Nick Nick is not going full time on our dime. Nick is going full time on Nick's dime. If that makes sense? Like I'm full time on the project out of pocket. So is Nick. So send pizza and tacos to Nick. If Nick wants to give you his address for pizza and tacos, have at it. That's between you and Nick. Actually, both of them. I'm hoping we have both of those things when I visit Nick. Amazing, team's really awesome. We are. We're nice guys. We're fantastic guys. Tell us more. Hinda says makes sense. It leaves stuff up to us to discover, and it'll be interesting to see what the community comes up with. That's totally off base. You guys are pretty on point though. Nick does not stream yet. He may stream later. He's getting a new machine. He used to stream. He's actually a Twitch partner. And he's been streaming since back in the day. Nick's role? Design and production, similar to me. I mean, honestly, there are a few of us that wear a ton of different hats, so even design production doesn't necessarily wrap up everything that he's doing. I had to go have a good cry for Mushroom Cave. Rip. Oh, because the one that's there, it won't is being changed. Do you want us to keep it and just make it a different zone somewhere that you can discover? We might do that. Okay. That might work then. We'll just rename it and we'll move it. Attach it to the plane of meat. Have it be discoverable. We should go to medieval times for the photo op. Oh, dude, that's complicated. We're just gonna hang out. We're gonna have a chill evening together. High five. Go through my list. Go through my list. Invis undead spells drop randomly anyway, but are you going to equip the dead with a sense life ability? But don't they already? Do you mean that they would sense life through invis undead? Getting distracted. Pineapple. Huh. That'd be, maybe. Maybe there's something like that. That allows them to see through invisibility on undead. But they cast it so you can kind of see it coming. And it's not always. Maybe. Nick's out there, maybe he's writing it down. If you don't see it, then be sure to bug us about it. Yes, I've just been staring at this area. I'm not going to start it until tomorrow morning. All right, so basically I got to do, I don't know, that's like a solid 30. Oh. We're going to get through it. I don't know if Pattis is out there, but I'll have to ask him some questions about some of the ruins and stuff like that. But I want to reread all the lore again. It's only, you know, like a couple pages for this area, and then get my mind in the game, and then just blast on it tomorrow. There's something else I was going to ask you guys. What is it? Poop. Yeah, it was interesting to see that a number of people were actually in Fallen Pass, right? That we've got people that were in their 20s and 30s. 22, 30 basically. Is anybody over level 30? Saw a couple level 25. Assuming a wipe's coming. We have a few 25 and a 46 on Rel. 26. Okay, I was like 46. That is, we're gonna investigate. It's 26. Typo is 26. I was told some folks abused the XP exploit and got some high levels. It's all good. Now I don't know that we're in a rush to wipe, to be honest. It's nice to have you guys running through some of the content and getting a little first pass in. So are you specifically working on everything in the west side, Nick's taking north side, or is the roll of dice first come first serve? I mean, on a lot of this stuff, Nick spends a fair amount of his time on systems, class designs, like abilities and spells and things like that. And so I've been grabbing zones like this as they come on. It's the zone that I just wanted to work on anyway. So for the Basepop and, you know, basically just getting the population in, that's something that would take a hard sort of first pass on. And then, like I was saying before, I want to come in with him and then talk through abilities and the best way to basically get all that stuff set up using some of his SQL magic, and then itemization. So once I wrap up here, I've got some paperwork to do with the zone. Essentially, we've got a list on our Confluence that's a breakdown of like every, or it should be, but it will be a breakdown of every camp in the game, so that we can look at the camp, their zones, their level ranges, and see kind of like which camps have rares, which then links to like our itemization spreadsheet for all of the quests and rares and stuff. So the thing that we're looking at with like a zone like this, I think there's 20 to 30 different like camps, not counting just, there's some areas that you guys are camping that I wouldn't necessarily have on a camp list like broken out, but but it makes sense. It was designed in a way where you've got these beetles here and you've got kind of a safe spot over here a little bit, seen people camping over there. In theory, you could probably, this could support, you know, I don't know, you guys were in here over the weekend, it could support 3 groups easy, maybe more. It's not like there's a ton of mobs spawning in here. And then that's just right next to the tunnels that you guys discovered that I guess scared the shit out of you when the parade went through. So it's cool. I'm glad you guys got to see the parade. I was excited about getting that in. It was really fun getting that in. So Darius said game ran much better than last test. Really impressed with the improvement. Hey, appreciate it. It'll continue to improve. I know we were looking at stuff immediately where we're like, it didn't necessarily meet expectations, so it'll get even better. Ventured up to the top, even down by the putreds. Yeah, so all of that area, like basically you guys were up here, and all of this is unlike populated so far. It's all placeholder. So that whole area you're in is going to be a different population next time you guys are in. And this ledge that's kind of right off the initial area will be populated as well. It's currently just got placeholder. And then this whole city up here is going to be done next time you guys are in. But I don't know. I'm thinking you're not going to be high enough level for it though. And Farish asks, robot to draw design areas with camps in mind in EQ, or do players naturally establish those on their own? I don't know if the early guys really designed with camps in mind, but by the time I was on the team and we were designing the expansions I worked on, we started we designed our zones from the standpoint of camps. Like we would whiteboard them, and we'd usually start with, like, depending on the zone, we'd kind of look at like 3 to 5 major camps, and then we'd go from there and see if they're supporting camps. And we'd leave naturally if a zone's designed the right way for the field that we're shooting for. You're going to come up with new shit, right? Like you're going to, like, people were camping here. The first playtest that people were in here, they were over here, and I really wasn't thinking about that much. But it's fair, right? Because there's plenty of nooks for you to establish a camp, so why not? But a lot of what, at least I believe, drives camp behavior is reward. And so, the secondary camps that aren't necessarily obviously linked to a rare is they can pop up wherever. And then you guys are ultimately going to find like safe spots and, cool sort of optimal places that we didn't think of, but that's the way the game's designed, so it doesn't break if you do that, right? It's one thing if you don't run our instance correctly. Like if you run our instance in a way we didn't plan and you're skipping all the content and getting to the end and shit, that breaks the game. But our game's not made in that way, right? Our game's made in a way that's really meant very intentionally for you to do weird stuff to and come up with your own way to play it. Chili Sauce said, I managed to set up camp right between 2 streams of mobs meeting up. I was wondering what the hell was happening as I was surrounded. Did they fight each other or did they just keep going? Unchained said there's an issue with the structure of the end of playtest events. I think the main issue is that they're not actually events. So when you're saying like highest melee DPS, casters can't land dragons, ensures whoever won the first DPS race got the sword. Corpse route timer 5 minutes, meant only a few outside the XP group able to get. Yeah, it's because it's not an event. It's just GMs. It's not even GMs. It's the team having fun and just spawning shit. So it's not really an event. So that's the downside, is it's not kind of edge cased and super fit, like high fidelity or whatever. So that may be something for us to keep in mind in the future, and we can either make it work better for you guys, or we can do fewer of them or something, so that people don't get sad if they don't get a sword or whatever. Because it's really just meant to be like, oh, random shit. Striker 1987, thank you for the follow. Oh, Chili Sauce said the train that goes to the tunnel. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. That makes sense then. Let's see. I only asked because we also hit Glass Flats Mugger Ramp, and I've only seen you work on this side of the world. Glass Flats Basepop. Nicodemus did the query. I think I did the bulk of the. Well, I know that I did the bulk of the initial sort of placeholder Basepop in Glass Flats as well. I think maybe you just didn't see those mini episodes of me being about this efficient on stream, but then getting stuff done. The spiders, I was just in there putting some spiders in because it looked like somebody had propped out a bunch of spider webs and stuff in one of the little jungle areas. So there's some spiders in there now. And I mean, other guys may have come in behind that and like touched it up or made adjustments, but I'm fairly certain the Mugra ramp guys are stuff that I put in as well. So you didn't see me over there. Reward and efficiency enough pulls the feeder group. Yep, and that's kind of the thing that we're guessing at a little bit when we're placing. When we're in placing mobs, it's kind of like, all right, if it's optimal, what do we think? Like how many mobs are feeding a camp, and so where do we think a camp would be set up? And so it's kind of like, or at least when I'm thinking about it, it's a bit like looking at where the rares would be, and then thinking, okay, if the rares are there, then that's probably going to be the anchor point for certain camps. For non-rare camps, then there's probably some throwaways. Some of it's designed a little bit with like a what if there's only a solo or a duo or a trio that's kind of like trying to get a group together to be able to move up to a better camp, right? So there may be some stragglers. Sometimes I like to, well, as you can see, like all these lines are patrol routes. I don't know. You guys may come in and you know, if you play and it feels sucky, then we'll adjust it. Or if I'm running through with some of the guys and we're getting feedback and it's shitty, then we'll adjust as well. Yeah, you discovered this ladder's not climbable at the moment. Sorry about that. Need to fix that. Let me actually put that on my list. I can help out with that and get that done. Rat ladder. But yeah, so something like that's like, all right, well, this guy's gonna path here, you know, he's gonna patrol here. Then you can look at the frequency. So he's probably gonna kick off every 20 seconds plus travel time. So in theory, if you're a soloist or you're a duo, then you could come up, you could take this guy out. Then this guy, when he's over, or maybe he adds as you're trying to, right? Like if we've got a 30 to whatever, I don't know where our TTK is riding at the moment, but say it's somewhere between 20 and 40 seconds. Come up, 20, 40-second TTK, see where this guy's on the path. So you immediately go into your next mob, depending on what the duo is. Maybe you park them or whatever, or even solo, I guess. All right, so now you got a pretty open shot to be able to come over to get at least another one. And then you can kind of see how you want to break that up. And it's kind of the same thing around here, right? It's okay if you're a group, then you can just power the, you know, like pull. You've got options for CC or lulling or whatever. But if you're in a smaller sort of like grouping construct, then you can come in and hit some of these, and maybe, you know, and maybe it's one of those things where you're not brave enough to be able to get these guys, but you're necro or you know, an elementalist or a duo group or whatever, and you come in, you can grab these guys and come up here and grab another solo one and kind of move around a little bit, and then you've got your own like little rotation for trying to keep busy while you hopefully have some other people come up and like, hey, yeah, we're looking for such and such, the rat guy too, you know, like blah blah blah, build up your group and then move up into better camps. And in this camp, if you're paying attention, you may even find a random, depending on what happens to them along the way. There's you know, a name that does a very long path, so you have a shot there. And that's just kind of, you know, and you see there's more dense kind of approach and stuff in some of these areas. Right. So there's a fair bit of that, right? Oh, you know, high level guy that passed around, some other stuff, right? Like kind of a street, you know, zone sweeper, enforcer type, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's what I mean by there's in theory, there's a shitload of camps in this zone. And hopefully they're camps that once the abilities are on them and stuff like that, then they feel a little bit more challenging than they probably did while you're in there. Once we look at some of the class distribution, there may be a more robust class mix that's added in there as well to kind of make it interesting. So, yeah, does that make sense? And he carries a certain sword. I'll show you the sword. Yeah, I was trying to tell a story. I was trying to explain something with visual representation, and everybody made fun of my image, and then it got made into 3D. Thanks, Octowist. Yeah, so I'll fix the ladder. Well, cool guys. It is 10:48. As much as I'd like to hang out with you all night and chew the fat, I am going to wrap up. It wound up being a 3-hour and 17-minute session, so that's not bad. Goblin's got something for me for here or in Slack or in, IRL. Yeah, looking forward to Ghoul Root, Necroskellies, haven't spelled exactly. That's what I'm saying, Tupac. It'll be a little more challenging and interesting later. All that adventures in the caves and stuff will have their correct abilities, all that stuff. So for here, what do you have here, Goblin? Good night, Yordash. I'm gonna start saying good night to people. Well, wait. Good night, Sneaky Russian. See you, John. Later, check. Good night, Unchained. See you, Bill. Thank you for the wonderful model. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with me, you shoes. Is anyone else on the team streaming right now? If they were, they should have said something. I would rate them. But no one said that. So, and I didn't ask because I'm tired. But it's a good question. Thank you, Kaida. 24/7 Eminem coverage. We might be able to pull it off. See you, John. Hey, Fielder, I'll have one more stream on Friday before I go to the States. So, if I don't see you then, thank you. If not, I'll see you then. See you, Chili Sauce. Good night, Death by Gnomes. Later, Dragon, Monotonous. Good evening, Nick. It's in Slack. Thank you, Goblin. I'm sure. There's no telling. You guys are so mean to me. All I do is give and I give and I give and I love. I give you all my love, and then you're mean to me. You make fun of my sword. My crooked little sword. Good night, and Farish. Matthias. Wrong Warp. See you. See you, Lasava. Zukin. We'll see, Goblin. We'll see what you gave me. All right. I think that's it. We're good. I'm going to click the button and get the F out of here. Say hello to my wife. With a name like Goblin, does it really surprise? It's probably going to be a greener. Probably going to be a greener. If you know, you know. All right. See you guys. I'll see you guys on Friday. Goodbye.